Hi, I'm Marie from Crochet A to Z, and today I want to talk about must-haves and gadgets. And it's not just your yarn, and it's not just your crochet hook. Believe it or not, it's more. So let's get started. The first thing on my must-have list is a retractable, yes, a retractable measuring tape. I love this. I have more than one. In case I can't find one, I always have another one on hand. These retractables are great. When you're following a pattern and you have to have a certain gauge, you want to be able to measure. This is my go-to for that. It's also my go-to if somebody says, I want an Afghan and I want it to fit a certain couch. So I'm able to measure the couch. They tell me the couch. I'm able to go by that and then measure out how many chains I'm going to need for that one Afghan, and the length, and the width. And this is what my go-to for doing that. So do I think or believe that this is a go-to and a must-have? Absolutely. For any crocheter that's either following a pattern or has got their own pattern and they want to make a certain thing, this is a must-have and a go-to as far as I'm concerned. So here's my first go-to and must-have. My second must-have and go-to is this little gadget. It's made by Clover, and it measures, it lets me know rows, and I can count stitches. If I'm doing an intricate pattern and it has more than one type of stitch, I use this for the different types of stitches that I want to be able to count and make sure that I'm doing it right. Or for how many rows a certain color I need in a certain pattern I need, whether it's, an Afghan that's got 12 rows of blue and maybe 3 rows of gray, or, whatever. This is what I use that for. Do I believe that this is a must-have and a go-to? Absolutely. A lot of companies make these, so you can find them, I'm sure, on Amazon and any yarn store that you go to as well. They have this, I like this one, it's my manual one. They have one that's electronic. I have one of those too. It actually goes on my finger. I use this one all the time. It's what I prefer. It may not be what you prefer, but do I think it's a must-have? Absolutely. So my next must-have, and believe it or not, it's a notebook and a pencil. Why? If you're following a certain pattern and you want to make notes, that's a perfect time to do it. If you're following a certain pattern or you've made your own pattern and you're not going to remember it, because I've done that, you write it down. I made a granny square, which is an easy pattern for me, but it was a certain granny square that I really liked the pattern. I liked the way it felt, and I used a certain crochet hook, and I happened to use an H hook, and I wanted to remember that right in my notebook. I made notes, and that's what I did. So do I love my notebook and my pencil for this? Absolutely. A lot of people also, whether they crochet or they knit, they also journal their work. They put what they made, if they sold it or they kept it, who they gave it to. So they make journals of what they make. Do I make a journal of everything that I've done? Absolutely not. I don't. Some people do. And it's great, especially if you're selling and you sold something, you put a note on it, how much you sold it for, etc., etc. So do I believe that this is a must-have? I think it's a must-have. The other thing the reason why I use this is I make more than one project. I usually have 3 or 4 projects going. And in order to remember what crochet hook I used, I always write the projects down in here, because what ends up happening is sometimes you put your thing down, your pattern down and your project down, and you walk away, or you walk away for the night, and then you go back to it and you can't find your crochet hook. So it's either stuck in the chair, it's under the chair, and you're not going to go fishing for it. So, and this has happened to me. So I go in my notebook and I say, okay, I made this project. I made it with an H hook. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get another one from my stash of all my extra, crochet hooks. and I'm going to pull it out and use that one. It's the same size. So, and then when I go to clean, and I either find the crochet hook in the chair or under the chair or wherever I find it, or even in the car if I've gone out and I've, dropped it in the car. So it ends up being nice because you've got a notation of everything that you've done. You've got a notation that that's the crochet hook, and you can't find the one you had. So, or if you don't have that size and you go out and buy another one, say, well, I'll go out and buy another one. But at least you know what size it is. And like I said, when you make more than one project at a time, this is like your Bible. So do I think it's important to have? Do I think this is a go-to? Absolutely. This is my go-to, and I think it'll become your go-to as well. So that is another go-to for me. The next go-to that I have is my funky scissors. I love these. Do I have more than one scissors? Absolutely. Are these important to me? Absolutely, because we have to cut, if you do more than one, if you do a lot of rows and then you got to change yarn, you want to have a good scissors. You want to have one that's sharp. And why not have one that's funky too? It's kind of like, yeah, I really like this. It was like I went out and I said, oh yeah, I have a scissors, but not like this. This is really cute. So I bought this for myself. I really thought it was funky. I liked it. I liked the whole bird thing going on. And I got myself one of these, and I do have more than one scissors. So they are nice. They're nice gifts too. If you wanted to give somebody something really special and something different, and they crochet or whatever, what a nice gift. I think they're great gifts. So that's my go-to for my scissors. And then there's this little gadget. It's made by Clover as well. It's really kind of cool. I want you to see it. And it's got all these edges in here, and you can cut your yarn from this. So if you can't find your funky scissors, you've got this, and it's like a pendant. So it's got a little hole in it, and you can put string in it or hang it around your neck. And it's a great little object, and it's great little, do I say that it's a must-have? No, but why not? So I like this. It's nice. It's small enough that I can throw it in a bag, and I know I have it. So if I have to cut my yarn, do something, at least I know I have something. So if you forgot your scissors, or you don't want to put your scissors in your bag because you don't want to put your hand in, this is a great little thing to have. It's like I said, it's made by Clover. You can get them at the yarn stores. That's where I got this one, and it's kind of cute. It's funky, and I like it. So is it a must-have? Maybe not. Is it good to have? Absolutely. So that's one of the things that I love. So my next go-to is this. It holds my needles, which I use for when I weave in my ends. Is it a must-have? Maybe not to you. I like it. I think it's a must-have for anybody, actually, because it's a safe way to store your needles. It's great, and I have different size needles, and you don't want one of these falling in a couch seat and having someone sit on it. And quite frankly, I know that happened to somebody. They sat on one of these. They ended up at the emergency room, and they ended up having to go on antibiotics. They didn't think it was a big deal, but it was a big deal. And like I said, they ended up going on antibiotics. And if you have a pet or a husband or a significant other or anyone in the house, you don't, nor you, do you want to sit on one of these? So are these a must-have? Absolutely, to weave in your ends. Is this a must-have to store your stuff in? Absolutely. I have more than one of these. I have them in different colors, and they store my needles. And I know they're safely tucked away from my husband, guests, my grandchildren, my pet. So is it a must-have? I think it is. I think it's a great to have. My next must-have is stitch markers. They come in different colors. They come in different sizes. They come in metal. They come in plastic. These are great. These are plastic. And they hook on. They did come in different sizes. I think they're a must-have. If you follow, if you follow patterns, sometimes the patterns will tell you that you need these. If you've left off on a certain stitch and then you're picking up, you'll see if you do mittens, These are good to have because it lets you know where you began and ended. When I make the 5-star Afghans, I use these because they are very important to me when I make the 5-star Afghans. So I find that, yes, these are a must-have. Yes, they're a must-have in different sizes, so you want to get them in different sizes. This has a little neat little bag packet that you put it in. I also have some, actually the smaller ones. I have them in a plastic little container, but these are great. So are they must-haves? I think they're a must-have because you never know when you need them. And quite honestly, I use them when I crochet, and at the end of the night, I want to save my stitches. Quite frankly, the crochet hook, you can put it in there, but it's not going to hold your stitches. So these are good to have for when you want to hold your stitches. So do I think this is a must-have? Yeah, because you know, at the end of the night, you just put one of the or two of these in like this. See how it, and you just say, okay, I know where I ended. I ended with the single crochet or whatever, a double crochet or whatever you ended in, and you can count and you know all your stitches are there. You don't have to say, oh, I've got to start the sew. I got to figure out where it pulled. You don't have to do that with these. So that's what I also use them for, and I think they are really great for that. So my next must-have, or maybe not, but it's a must-have for me, and that's these. I put these sometimes on work that I've made for people, or things that I've made for loved ones, or sweaters, or so it says handmade by Maria. They have different ones that made with love. They have different phrases on them. This one was specially made. I ordered these, I believe, through Etsy. You can get them through other places. You can Google online for these. You can also go to Joann's. They have them ready-made. They have them in different colors, so they color coordinate with whatever project that you've made. So these are really good. This kind of goes with everything. And these are really nice because it just gives a little bit of a touch of you, an extra touch of you, should I say, in your work, and you give it to somebody and they see that and it's like, oh, that's really nice. It says made with love or whatever, so that it's really cool. And the other thing that they have also is they have these ones, the tags. I use the tags, and it says made by, or you can fill in your name, or it says made with love. Those are also, and I sometimes, what I do is, most times if I'm giving them away, I attach them to my work, and I put my name on it, made by Maria, and then I explain, you can wash this a certain way, you can tumble dry it, you can put it in the dryer, don't wash it like this, don't wash it like that. I put directions on it on how to care for it. Because a lot of people, I've gotten them where they've gotten them and then they go, oh, I love the fact that you put that in there because I don't know how to wash this, especially if they're not familiar. And quite honestly, you've got different yarns. You've got cotton yarns, you've got acrylic yarns, you've got cotton blends, you've got wool blends, all wool. So it's nice when somebody gets something like that to know, oh, this is the way I care for this, because it's nice for them to know that that will last them a lifetime if they know how to take care of it. So is it a must that you put those tags on? I think it's a great idea if you're giving away a gift. Is like, yeah, just tell them how they can wash it, and especially if you don't see them all the time. So is it a must-have to have those tags to put on your giveaways? Absolutely. I think they're good to have. Is this a must-have? Maybe not right away, but why not? It just adds a little personality to your projects, and people love handmade things. They do. I don't know many people that don't. There might be some that don't, but most people love handmade stuff. It's just beautiful. I know if you get something that someone makes for you, I know when my grandchildren give me something, it's heartfelt. It's like the best thing. I don't care. It's the best thing ever. When your grandchild gives you something, this is the same thing. When someone gives you something, when you give somebody something that you've made, this is like showing them, I love you, I care about you, and I'm happy to make this for you. So why wouldn't you add a little another touch to it and say, this is how to care for it, this is how you take care of it, this was made by me, it was made by love. So it's all special. So do I think that these are great? Yes. Do I think that putting those tags on handmade stuff that you've made and given to people and let them know how to care for them? Absolutely wonderful. So the next thing I want to talk about is this bag. I got this from my daughter-in-law and son, and it's a great bag, and it's a yarn bag. It says Yarn Dream. It has a nice pocket. It has a carry strap. It has a carry handle. It has holes on the top. It's zippered. You can put about 3 or 4 skeins of yarn in here. Depends on what you want. And it's got the holes, and you can pull your yarn in here. You can put this next to you, which I have. You can put this next to you when you're crocheting, and your yarn's in there, and it's nice and stable. And you open it up, and you got all your yarns. You can about 4 skeins of regular size yarn, maybe 1 big yarn. It keeps it clean. It keeps it in place. If you want to take this on a trip, if you want to take it in the car, it's just easy, it's compact, it's really great, and I love it. So that's another go-to. Do I think it's a must-have? Yeah, because it's nice to put your yarn in something and carry it with you, whether you're going from room to room or you're going from place to place, and it's just nice. Everything's in there. You can throw stuff in the pocket. Is it a must-have? I think it is. I think it's good to have, and I have more than one. My daughter-in-law and son and my grandchildren gave me this one. Do I use both of them? Absolutely. Are they a must-have? I think they are, because you throw your stuff in here, you got all your yarn in here. This one has the holes too, so that can go through. It's got another nice zippered compartment. It's got all zippered compartments in it. As you can see, there's my yarn. There's all kinds of stuff in here. And it's got little pockets on the sides. It's got slots for all crochet hooks. It's great. So it's got slots for crochet hooks. And it's got a zippered compartment for all gadgets and all kinds of little things that you want to put in there, and you can tuck them away safely. This is a great bag. Also, like the red one, to take with you when you go away. It's perfect. It's a great size. You can carry it with you. You can take it wherever you want. And it's great. I love it. And quite frankly, and I have to tell you that I take my yarn everywhere. I take it to the, if I go for a ride, let's say I'm going for a cup of coffee, the 3 things that I carry with me is my handbag, my cell phone, and my yarn. And I take it everywhere. I go for a cup of coffee, I take my yarn. I go for a ride and my husband says, I want to run in here. Do you want to come with me? Sure. I take my yarn with me, because he'll say, well, I'm going to go in. I'm going to be a little while. That's fine. Go ahead. I got my yarn with me. The dog's sitting on my lap. I got my crochet. I'm crocheting. I'm having a good time. I'm relaxed. The minutes go away. It's like, okay, it hasn't been that long. He's back, and it's like, okay, this wasn't bad. He did his thing, and I sat there and I crocheted. It's a win-win. I went for coffee and I crocheted. Do I do it all the time? No. Sometimes I'll take it with me and it'll sit there. Do I do it most of the time? Probably. Do I take it with me all of the time? Yes. The only time I don't take it with me, my yarn, my crochet, my projects, is when it's a wedding or something special. I won't take it with me. I'll leave it at home. But most times I take it with me. And I love it. It's my passion. It's what I love to do. I love to crochet. It's what I love. And so when you love something like that, you just want to do it all the time. So that's one of the things that I do. So I think I've hit all the things that I believe are important. I also want to touch on a few things about yarn, about crochet. I understand, and I was reading that the first crochet pattern appeared in the 19th century magazine named Penelope by the Dutch. I thought that was very interesting. So there's a lot of interesting stuff with crochet. It's not just crochet, it's beyond crochet. Crochet was important during the potato famine in Ireland, and I thought that was really interesting. And the reason why it was important is because a group of nuns taught women how to crochet, and that became an important part of their time during that famine, and it provided needed income during that time. So when you think about it, they learned to crochet from nuns, and it actually became Irish crochet, and it's a really intricate, important part of history that crochet has been with us a long time. They can't even pinpoint exactly when it was. A lot of different areas say we had it, but I think it's so interesting to know that during the potato famine, it became a very important part of these women's lives because they learned to crochet to help keep meals on the table and to help feed their families and to survive during this really bad time. So I thought that was really interesting and very important. They said that crochet became popular in the 1920s when women stopped wearing corsets and began to crochet lace underwear, which I thought was really interesting too. And like I said, you just don't know about crochet and when it's existent, but you know throughout history it's been important for many different reasons. The main difference I found out between crochet and knitting is that in crochet, each stitch is completed before moving on to the next stitch. I had no idea that there was that difference, and I found that to be, again, a very interesting part. In the health part of it, they say that it helps with people that have anxiety and risk of Alzheimer's. And Alzheimer's, it reduces it, they say, by 30 to 50%. It reduces the chances of Alzheimer's. It's also been important for people with sleep problems and, like I said, anxiety problems. So crochet has so many intricate parts of it, and there's so much that it can offer you. But one of the main things that it can offer you is relaxation and pride in what you make. It's just a beautiful craft. I also found out that, I've known this, I've read about it, yarn bombing. That's when it's yarn graffiti, and I've seen it. It's a type of street art, and what people do is they'll make granny squares, and they'll wrap a bunch of big granny scrap. They'll put them together, the granny squares, and they'll wrap them around the trees, and they yarn bomb areas and trees and fences and different areas. So I found that to be really, really interesting. And the last note I have is over 2,000 women from 14 countries met in India to crochet the world's largest crochet blanket. Can you imagine how big that was? They said it was about 120,000 square feet, about the size of 1.5 football fields. That's amazing to me, that all those women got together and they did that. And that's one of the things that I want to end with, is that crochet, like I'll go to certain crochet stores. I'll go to Joann's, and I'll go to certain ones that are mom and pop ones. I love the mom and pop ones. And when I go into Maine, I always stop at the Yarn Cellar. It's one of the places that I just love up there. And one of the things that I find, the women and the people that are in there, because the men and women crocheting or knitting, and the people in there, and the yarn is absolutely beautiful. It's like nothing you've ever seen before, because they don't have yarn that you find in Joann's. They have things beyond that, really expensive yarns, and they're beautiful. Joann's yarns are beautiful, but their yarns are also exquisitely beautiful and just beautiful to be around. It's great. So, but one of the things that bind us together is that we all have the love of the craft. So when you go in these stores, you may not know the person, but you do, because you all have this one thing that binds you, and that's crochet, or that's knitting, that's yarn, that's love of craft and making. So crochet brings us together. You may not know someone, but you may know them. You do know them because they love what you love. So you may not know their name, but you know that they like what you do. So what I'm trying to say is crochet is fun, and it makes you feel good. So if you'll join me, my next video will be on May 10th, and we're going to learn how to make this stitch on May 10th. And all it involves is chain, a single crochet, and 2 double crochets. You can make an afghan, you can make a nice baby blanket, or you can even make a scarf. It's a nice stitch, it's a warm stitch, it has texture to it, but best of all, it's easy. So all you're gonna need is your yarn and a size I crochet hook. Join me on the 10th as we get together and learn a stitch, and the stitch is beautiful and you're gonna love it, and you can make something for someone. You can even make a lap can and think about making things for Christmas. So join me on May 10th as we learn this stitch together, and we do it together, and see you then, and have a great day. And don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Have a great night. Bye-bye.